Welcome to Relaunch Live Podcast. Relaunch Live Podcast. Talking all things real estate, the strategies that build it, and sharing their own life-changing growth plans. They are two of the most dynamic people in the business with one common goal: to make you rethink, reimagine, and be re-inspired in your life and business. Welcome to the Relaunch Live Podcast with your hosts, Veronica Figueroa and Jeff Lobb.
Hey, everyone. This is Veronica Figueroa and Jeff Lobb.
What's up?
What's up? We're coming to you live, up close and personal today in our very first ever live Relaunch podcast with Jeff and Veronica in the same room.
Yes.
Jeff is visiting our studio in Orlando, Florida. So we just felt it was the right thing to do to sit and just discuss what's happening in today's market and just catch up. And we've got a special message, as we get real raw and start talking about what's happening so that you can be re-inspired, re-energized, and, honestly, relaunch your business, like we say here at the Relaunch Podcast.
Yeah.
Jeff, welcome to my humble home, to our office. What do you think?
Amazing. It's fantastic. I've already taken pictures, shared it with everybody.
Oh,
What a
good.
beautiful, beautiful spot you got.
So Jeff and I, we always are texting back and forth, and it's always so fun to catch up. We were just recently at Inman, and we ran into each other a couple places, and we're like, man, we got to do the live in-person podcast when we get a chance. And he was flying into Orlando. I was like, we're doing this. So it's been crazy, just having a lot of different discussions. I think we shared earlier today. I've had some really good friends in the office today that, some industry leaders. I feel super blessed, but there's a common theme that we're hearing, right? It's the uncertainty of the industry and what some agents are fearing. And we are not going to come to you with this fear-mongering theory that the real estate market is going to crash or anything like that. But what we're discussing is the amount of agents that have uncertainty. And we want to lay, I would say, a foundation of what it's going to take for an agent to be super successful in the next few, I would say, years, and how a lot of people are going to carry the heavyweight champion belt that they had from what they closed in 2021. And, we all did in 2021, but what are you really living in 2022 right now at this moment? Some of you started off with a really great first quarter. Maybe it's the half, today's September 1st. So, maybe your first Q1 was great. Q2, was doing good, but you're starting to feel some pressure. Today is September 1st. Today's the very first day of, let's just say, 2023. I've always coached my agents that this is when we start working on the next year. What you're doing today will show up in December and January. And I still am firm and I believe in that. But I recognize that a lot of agents don't even know what it means to be in this world because so many entered into this space less than 3 years ago, Jeff.
Yeah.
I would love for you. You are one of my mentors. You've helped me. You've coached me. You're the founder of Coach 52, which is an amazing platform that helps agents and guides them over the course of 52 weeks. You hold teams accountable. You work with brokerages and mortgage companies from all over that leverage your platform to help their teams be accountable, their agents be accountable. And I think this is a very special session, right? This is cut the bullshit. It's hard out there right now. It's not impossible for you to be successful, but what do you need to do to be successful so that you can have a successful, thriving real estate career? Not only 2022, 2023, but for a very long time if this is your career of choice. So, woo!
I think this is like,
I'm on fire right now.
I'm letting you roll because I can tell it's been what we all had.
This is something I'm passionate about and I want to help you. And I was just telling Jeff that I did a video today. If you're an agent who's uncertain, that you're thinking about getting out of the business, that you're just frustrated because it's a tough time right now. There's some things you could do. Check your ego out the door. Like I'm actually opening up on our team, like saying, hey, you're probably exactly the agent I want to talk to. Before you decide to throw in the towel, let's chat. I want to talk to you about what we can do to get you going, maybe on a team. And, it's amazing how many agents just give up and get out of the business when it gets tough.
Heard so much about it. This is probably the time where you can really look back and realize this is why I need to be humble all these years, because there were people for the last couple of years, like, we're crushing it and touting numbers, and, the ego has just got out of control. And, coaches were even doing it too. Like, we've driven sales. Well, like, let's face it, if you haven't had that year or two, like, you might not even be in the business. But, here we are now where reality's setting in a little bit, and there is no crash happening. This is really getting back to reality. Problem is, no one was ever trained or had systems in place, or they were just flying by the seat of their pants, writing deals quicker than they can write them.
Yeah.
And here we are now. And I was telling you earlier, I literally have had a bunch of Uber rides around some of the events I was doing while I'm down here, and couldn't make this up, everyone was a realtor, or at least said they were in real estate. One took a license. One told me that, and I listened carefully because I shut my mouth sometimes and listen. Tell me he's had a license for a couple of years and he's not doing it anymore. Because I said, "Oh, why aren't you doing real estate anymore?" He's like, "Oh, because the market's so bad." And I said, "Well, what do you mean it's bad? I want to hear their And the bad was, well, there used to be homes, now there's no homes. And I so wanted to get into the whole God, get out of your own way, dude. Like, I could really change that mindset, but they don't know. They got a license, and there's so much uncertainty. They're all figuring out, what do I do next?
Yeah.
And it might just be, they should be looking to the people who've done this and lived through this before. We know how to get through this.
Yeah.
You know how to get through this.
Been through a couple market shifts.
Right. It's, there's some scaling back, then there's some scaling up.
Yeah.
Just like as quick as you could scale up, you could scale back, but that doesn't mean you're not profitable. Doesn't mean you're not going to have a great lifestyle. There's all of these opportunities, but you got to learn how to do the business.
Yeah. I've talked to a couple of team leaders that have been like, I think I'll just go back into production, or my team. I don't want to be responsible for people, and maybe I don't need the headache of running a team, so I can just go back to producing. And what that tells me is they really weren't running a business. And again, not to knock them, but there's areas in their businesses that are flawed, that the solution is get back into production. And I want to correct that, because I don't think that's a bad thing. And I've actually told people that is not a bad thing if you realize that running a team is not your jam. So if you enjoy still being in production and you don't want to lead other people business, then focus on what you're really, really good at.
Right.
Now, but I have also said on the flip side to agents who perhaps have never been on a team, or perhaps have never looked at the options to have a thriving career in real estate, just because you can't do it right now on your own, because let's say marketing is expensive, lead generation is hard, building a brand maybe is not as easy as perhaps, you would have hoped it was. You can leverage by latching on to an experienced leader in your market where you can still have a thriving career. I know agents who make six figures, well over six figures, and have had a long career on successful teams. And I'm advocating for those team leaders, because I know they're going to be able to help agents in this challenging, changing market. And again, it's not a bad market. It's just a changing, challenging market, because the last 2.5 years was not a normal market. Okay. So my thing is, like, what we want to share with you today is that there are many ways that you could be successful in this challenging, changing market. For those of you who are looking for alternative ways to stay in the business, you do not have to get out of the business if you can put your ego to the side and take a bite of the humble piece of pie and say, maybe I should ask for help. Right. And maybe these are the things that I should be looking for. Right. So I would love, Jeff, like, what should an agent be looking for if they're thinking about exploring a team, or if they're thinking about finding ways to still be a successful agent, but maybe not have all the, let's say, foundational principles in place right now, that you as the founder of Coach 52 see and have coached many agents to be successful in any market.
This is probably the bigger value of a team right now. This is probably the bigger need. A lot of times people are even, joking around, some of us, with some of what we do. Like, we were super busy during the boom, but we are so much busier now. Why are people? Because everyone's trying to come get, like, finally people are saying, I now need some help.
Yeah.
And it's okay. We need to ask the right people for help. It's okay. That's what people are there for, whether it's a good mentor or coach, whatever you want to call it. The team concept was always built there to be like true mentorship. And if these agents can't do it alone and really want us to make this happen, you ride with a team and learn all those things you never did. Maybe your brokerage didn't deliver that. Maybe, it wasn't in the cards for where you hung your license. But at this point, you need to hang your hat with someone who has done this successfully and will continue to do it. And then you need to get some better perspective. I think that's the biggest thing people are missing. Everyone I talk to, and I have to kind of go down this path, is, our numbers are off. Our numbers are off. Where sales are down. We're down 20%. And I just have to ask them, from what?
Yeah.
What do we, of course, from last year, of course.
Listen, last year we sold 2,000 plus homes. This year we're on track to sell 800, 900-ish, and I want you to know that is still an intimidating number for me to share and know that I'm like, well, that's what the goal was for 2021 and 2022 anyways, but we just happened to have the blessing of a spike of 2021 that completely changed our world and showed us what we were capable when it came to processing and systems. But reality is we're down, but like you said, from what? We're a lot more up than 2019, which was the last normal market we were in.
Yeah.
Right. And there we were trending around 400 and something homes, which was like, whoa, I just want to cross over the 500 mark. Could never really hit that. Right. And then we hit 476, like barely got there. And then to change then it was 798, 2100. But then back to reality, it's like, I think we're doing okay if we sell 800 homes, serve 800 families. But what I'm more excited about are the agents that we get to impact that make up that success and that we get to impact their careers, and the ones that from then leave confident enough to say, I started off my career there and now I'm a top producer and I now understand the fundamentals that I need to run a real estate business, from what I should be doing when I wake up, how I run my calendar, how I run, manage my CRM, the type of mindset that I have to have, the type of video that I should be doing, the habits. So for me, I sleep well at night. I was like, wait, I can get to 2,000 if I can impact enough agents' lives in doing that. But I'll be the first to admit our numbers are down. They're not the same, and they won't be the same of last year unless I make some major changes in my business, which I want everybody to realize. It's okay to admit your business is maybe not as successful as it was last year, but it can be if you just do small tweaks in your business, and you could have a really, really great career. But don't measure it off of last year's success. You'll be disappointing yourself, and you'll be chasing some fictitious, like I would say, goals that it's like just a distraction.
Yeah, and you're getting your mindset into a whole different place, thinking you're always down, when it's not going to help you pick yourself up where you need to be. If you go back to 2019 or whatever that time was, take the mountain that happened, cut it off, just cut it straight off and build the bridge across. Now figure out where you are.
Yeah.
We got to look at it that way. And, if you're going to find people that, if you're smart, these agents that are really, call them rookies, they really never took the time to get educated. Get on a team that'll educate you. And guess what? You're going to see the ones that really shine. And when the ones that really shine and the market does shift again or whatever, and they start to thrive, the good news is, and we hate to hear it as a team person too, is they want to build their own team where they get so good. But you know what? We don't lose them now. We find ways to partner with those people, right? We help build them up, and then we find ways to partner with them. We don't have to let them just go off on their own. So partnerships, and that's how you expand on a big scale. You've done that across the country, maybe even in the world at this point. So those opportunities are there, but the only way you're going to scale numbers is just better people on your team, more people. There are only going to be so many transactions to have.
Yep.
You just need to get more people that do more with you in partnership with you. Simple as that.
We talk a lot about standards on teams and standards, for yourself in the business. And I think that that's really important for an agent to understand. Your business is a reflection of your standards. Your business is a reflection of your standards that you have for yourself and that you're willing to pretty much put up with. So if your day is like that of a busy agent, busy bee, that's what I call them, the busy bees that don't really, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm busy all day. I'm like, no. What's your prospecting time look like? What's your time block time look like? What's your video content strategy look like? And then they're like, I'm going to get to that, but I'm busy. Like, I'm busy with inspections, or I'm busy with this. I'm like, so let me ask you this. Do you have leverage in your business? And they're like, no, I'm looking for someone to help me with this. So when and I'm a control freak, no one does it better than me. I'm like, let me ask you something. I actually learned this from someone else. I was like, so do you schedule inspections better than me? And do I schedule appraisals better than you? And do I schedule closing times with the title company better than you, or better than you?
Yeah.
That's a task we can leverage. What are you really spending your time doing? What are the income producing activities that you are doing to grow your business? So when you ask an agent to audit their calendar and you say, what are your income producing activities? How many businesses did you visit? Listen, if you're the agent that's on a budget, right? How many visits did you make to a community, to a business, to understand their business, to understand their avatar? How many times did you bring your production studio to interview that person? Here's your production studio right here, selfie mode, or a little tripod from Amazon, and get the content to help them. What are you doing to show people what it's like to be in business with you before they're in business with you, without you just vomiting that you're the number one realtor in town or just sold, just listed? There's so much more. So when I ask them, they're like, yeah, I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
And I'm like,
look at you like,
okay, so it's the little small things that we can do. How much is that going to cost you? Time. Not a lot of money, a little bit of effort, and a little bit of consistency. You'd be amazed how people's business just starts changing with simple things like that. But they really don't have a plan of what their business looks like. It's like the whole wishful, like praying to the real estate gods to bring me a deal. But they do not have the equity in the business to earn all that business to come to them. So then they're just hopeful.
They don't have accountability.
Yeah.
Zero. No one's holding accountable. And all of that sounds great. And I said this earlier at the conference. We could tell the success of a real estate agent by your calendar.
Yep.
Send it to us. Same with a broker too, and a team leader. We can look at their calendars. What are they doing actively to do that? Here's the other thing is, this is where I see a disconnect from the brokerage business. Have a lot of clients in the brokerage. Some do a really good job at it. But the problem is everyone treats them like independent contractors. So when I say to somebody like, oh, how many people logged into even Coach 52 this week? And how many people are using it? It's like, well, some are super busy doing other things. Like they have zero direction with them because they're just free willy-nilly because they're independent contractors. Yet if you're on a team, let's say you're on the Jeff Lobb team, and I say, hey, listen, every Friday, here's what we're going to do. Every Monday, we're going to meet for 30 minutes. We're going to go over scripts and we're going to do this. This is what we're going to do. If you want to be part of this, you're going to do it. And there's accountability built in, and you're still an independent contractor.
Yeah.
But because there's structure that says, here's why you're part of this, you're going to have to do these things. Now, all of a sudden, we're getting results.
Yeah.
It's because we're now doing the activities with the leadership and the accountability versus I'm just part of a brokerage. And if I don't make the meeting, I'll make the meeting. And I jump on a Zoom every now and again. It's just flying willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And it's just not good for any agent to be productive that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think that what I want to the message I want people to understand is that you don't have to do this alone. If you are an agent that's, maybe having a hard time, there's two things you can do. You can do an honest audit of your business. What are you spending your time doing? Are you really dedicating the time to your business to grow your business, to grow your authority in the marketplace, to build a brand? What are you doing that really reflects that in your calendar? Ask yourself that question. Who is holding you accountable, and also in your business, that you could really report back some real, I would say, progress in your business? Weekly, small, micro commitments, right? That I would say, hey, this week I went out and I interviewed X amount of community leaders, businesses, got together and put out a community video or places to eat. And I'm giving you corny, simple things that you could do because I'm talking to the person who doesn't have a big budget.
Yep.
I'm talking to the person who's looking to break through in their business. But if you really kind of just go in and say, man, I could do that. I can insert this here. And this is my time blocking. And then, maybe you take all your A's in your phone. And this week you're going to go through all of them and you're going to give them a little, nudge, right? And not saying, who do you know who's going to buy and sell? Maybe you could say, hey, if you're like many, you have a lot of questions as to what's happening in the real estate markets today. And, there's some really cool new programs that have launched, and of course interest rates seem to be a little bit higher than what they were. the last couple of years, but they're still super competitive. And again, as we see things fluctuating, don't miss out on that home, because you're actually back in the driver's seat if you were a buyer. Like, just being super, super intentional with that video. And let's say you say, I don't have a big database. Well, get your phone out. Do you have A's? You scroll all the way to the bottom of your phone and you could see how many contacts you have. And you'd be surprised. You probably have 800 contacts in your phone, 300, 400. I have 3,500 and something. But like, and then you're like, okay, well, let me start with my A's. And then, it's a really good opportunity for me to do simple things like that. And sometimes they're like, I didn't realize it was that simple. Of course, that's not the formula to everything, but like, I'm again talking to that agent who doesn't have a big budget, and action and momentum and you just putting in the work will result into more conversations, which more conversations result into more conversion, because you had the opportunity to build deeper relationships with people. But you got to talk to more people. So how are you going to talk to more people? And the reason I bring up businesses, and the reason I bring up connecting with thought leaders in your market that aren't just in the real estate space, but have maybe influence businesses, highlighting the small business owners, and is because they have probably a little bit of critical mass. They're talking to 40, 50 people a day. How could you make an impact in their business, in their world? So they become raving fans for you, an ambassador for you. That's what I did when I was farming a community. And I started farming a community that was heavily saturated, but I just wanted it bad enough. And I was willing to kind of do the things that most weren't willing to do at the time.
Yeah.
And I just really want you, the agent that wants to have an honest conversation with yourself, and you're seeking the truth. The truth is within your calendar and your habits. What are you doing to grow your business? And if you just have all this empty space and all this busy space and all these busy tasks, now is your time to really have an honest conversation. September 1st, today is day 1 of 2023. We want to help you be prepared. If you don't have an accountability structure, there's a lot of affordable programs out there. You don't have to go and hire the most expensive coach. You don't have to go out there and feel like you have to spend all this money. There are many, many platforms out there to hold you accountable. I'm going to do a small plug, Coach 52. But I'm being real. I'm being real because I care about the amount of talent that is out there that doesn't know that they're talented, because they simply don't know how to manage
they've never
their
had
calendar.
the chance to feel that way. They weren't given the opportunity, and they have to take it upon themselves. And, when I was talking things about the teams in that brokerage with the independent contractor thing, this actually came up in a conversation. The reason I'm actually was down in Orlando. So there was a leadership team that we were talking to, and I said those exact same things because they're not team structured. And he actually just said to me, okay, well, Jeff, now I feel like crap, because now what do? I've got 30, 40 agents. How do I do this as a brokerage? And I said, that doesn't mean you can't be accountable. The accountability doesn't mean, I said, you need to get together a group. Here's what I would do. I'd get them all at one time to one meeting, get them to one and say, listen, for those of you who want to be better, for those of you who want to increase numbers, be held accountable, do this and keep structured. We're going to do it together then.
Yeah.
You know what? Get 7 people that say, I want to do this, and get a mastermind together and be accountable to once a week, talking about the struggles, talking about the solutions. And then you do it together. Although you're not officially a team, you create your own leadership. And the word leadership is tossed around. Leadership is an action. It's not a title. It's an action. You got to lead. Like, just because you are the boss doesn't mean you're being a good boss.
Yep.
So get them together and have that conversation. And then when they don't show up, you said, you wanted to do this.
Yeah.
This is why we're here. We're all going to do it together. And if you don't want to do it, that's okay. You go back to your 2-3 deals a year, and that's okay. I accept that. But that's how you can do it as a brokerage too. To me, the team just creates structure of systems and everything, but it doesn't mean you can't do it if you run a big brokerage or a small brokerage either.
And if you're managing the team of yourself, and it's just you, and it's just maybe your inspector, your appraiser team, your title partner, your lender, maybe that can be your accountability partner.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who you need to be reporting back to, of like, if your business is down, your inspector's business is down, your title partner's business is down, right? And you want to say, like, let's do this together. What are the things that we should be doing? I want to give a shout out to one of the lenders that popped in here, and she does this really cool marketing playbook. It's somewhere around here. Maybe I can have someone toss it to me. I don't know where I had it, but it's got some of the cutest things. I'm going to give you a little tip. She gives all the national corny events that I think are really, really cool. So this agent marketing playbook, right? I've got it here. And shout out to Jessica Sherrill with I believe I'm not even going to say what lender she's with because I don't even remember. Oh, Movement Mortgage. I knew it was something, but shout out to her. But this little special edition, she does this every month. I think it's cool. This is her way of prospecting agents, and I think it's brilliant. But what I love is she gives a video tip on here on which, kind of rip off and duplicate wherever you're at in the market. You can Google this. This is Googleable. And she actually goes in. And did you know that today was National Cherry Popover Day? Well, I'm like, I have no idea what National Cherry Popover Day. I actually started thinking like really like sexual things. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I'm like, okay, this is so cool, right? So here's the thing. And I just thought that this was the best video ever to do, right? It's actually got a timeline as to what an agent should be doing. But here's my video script for Happy National Cherry Popover Day. Cherry Popover Days are tasty treats that made from an egg batter and a flour mix. A donut muffin is filled with cherries, then baked, and it's baked either in a muffin tin or a special popover tin. Either way, it's totally delicious. This is Veronica Figueroa. Happy National Popover Day. And I'm taking a bite of a cherry popover, or I'm delivering these pop buys to my clients. No idea what a cherry popover is, but it's interesting enough to do a video, and it's got a calendar of tomorrow is Happy V3 Day. And you can look up what that is. Shout out to President Harry Truman for that. Happy Skyscraper Day. And, thinking about being different and being daring and out of the box is another thing I want real estate agents out there who are looking to build their brand to do. Be daring, be bold, be different, be consistent. If you did this every month, a video series on fun things to celebrate, Jeff, can I be an agent that can stand out in my market?
Hell yeah. And you don't even have to be like a social media guru to do any of this stuff. Like literally from your mobile device.
I just envision me eating a cherry popover right now, and and having all these little cool things come up and editing it myself on my iMovie or whatever, or maybe whatever the programs are. I have a video team, so they would kill me if I use like some antiquated system. They're like, "Girl, just shut up." But my point is that if you really want to be different and stand out and be successful and be consistent, the things that you do consistently in this business is truly what will determine your success.
But you know what? You never always had a video team. I never always had a video team.
No, this was my video team.
We all started with zero. Every one of us started with zero, no matter what market we were in. And sometimes we got into some, I got back in, like I was in the corporate world for a little while too, but I got back in after the crash.
Yeah.
The crash, like I came in, like what timing is that?
Hey, if you don't have a video team and you're looking in the Orlando area and you want to just kind of pop in and do your first podcast, I'm here for it. You can come use my studio, and because I am on a mission to see more agents do the damn thing. It is time for you to more than triple down on your business. Now is not the time for you to kind of play it safe. Now is the time for you to just go even harder. Triple down, not double down, triple down on your business. Get your content out there. Get the value out to the consumers. Educate, entertain, infotain, and be the resource and the guide to help people know that they can still buy and sell in any market, and you are that expert that's going to help them. Your habits are going to determine your success. I challenge you to audit your work. Get an accountability coach if you don't have one. You got one right here, Coach 52, a really easy to follow platform as well that people could use if they 100%. Didn't have one, if your brokerage doesn't offer one. And look up theme day holidays. I don't know, do videos for that. I did, if I had we have that little thing that they like, that should have been like an applause in the background. But guys, I hope you had fun. We wanted to do something up close and personal. We're very passionate about this, and obviously, as you know, our goal is to help you reimagine what your business and your life can look like. And I truly believe that we do this because we want to build a bigger life for our families and the legacy we want to build. So Jeff, thank you so much for being here today. Any final words?
No, I think we just need to really focus and double down, maybe even triple down on our work, but this will all come out the other end in a really shining way. So
we're rooting for you. Thank you again for being part of our Relaunch Live family. Relaunch Live Houston is coming to you soon, and we're going to be announcing our big Relaunch Live kickoff conference that will be here in Orlando, Florida. So if you are someone who's been to our Relaunch Lives in the past, you do not want to miss it. This one's going to be big. So stay tuned for the dates. Relaunch Live, where you are re-inspired to reimagine your business. See you soon.
You've been listening to the Relaunch Live podcast, helping you rethink, reimagine, and be re-inspired in your life and business. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. Find the show on Apple, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. See you next time.